Today, we went to two absolutely packed estate sales and we found so much great stuff. So come along with us to see what we picked up. If you're new here, my name is Zach and I love to go to estate sales, flea markets, and anything like that. Today, I brought Allie along with me, so we're going to see what she can find too. This estate sale was a little bit weird because we didn't see anything in the pictures that we were specifically going for, but the house as a whole seemed fairly old, so we figured why not? We're not doing anything else today. When we pulled up to the sale, there were a lot of cars already and they were handing out numbers. I was expecting a way higher number, but we ended up getting 11 and 12. If we would have got any higher number than that, I'm not sure if we would have stuck around. Estate sales usually let in the first 8 to 15 people, and if you have a number higher than that, you're gonna have to wait outside until people leave. It's like the worst FOMO ever. But even with numbers 11 and 12, I wasn't sure if they were just gonna say, you guys gotta wait, or if they're gonna let us in. Luckily, they let us in with the first group, so I immediately went in and went to the back bedroom to look through the closet. I didn't see anything crazy in here, but I did find these vintage flannel shirts, so I figured I would grab them. In the center of the room, there was a basket full of vintage hats. A lot of them were just local business related, but I did pick out a few good ones. It was really crazy in the house. I'm not sure how many people they let in, but I know there was at least 70 people outside waiting to come in, so it was wild. I found so much little stuff that I couldn't really film. I even had an IKEA bag and it was completely full too. Out in the garage, I saw this cool Reba picture, and on the wall they had a bunch of cardboard cutouts that they had taped to the wall. I couldn't get them off, so I just left them up there. Also out in the garage, I ran into Allie and she found so much great stuff. We took one more lap around the house and then we decided to check out. We found so many cool things. One of the best things that Allie found was this vintage Muppets Viewmaster. I had no idea this existed, but it's pretty cool. If you've been following me for a while, you know I love the Muppets randomly, so this is like an awesome find. The estate sale company had $10 on each of these Viewmasters, but they ended up selling us the entire tin for $10, so that was a great deal. At the end of the video, I'll show you guys how to use it if you've never seen one of these before, and show you all the little discs that it came with. In the back of the tin is dated 1978. This is from when the original Muppet movie came out. Something else that Allie got was this coffee mug clock. It was only $5, and it's kind of cool because the bottom is flat, so it can like sit on a counter. I didn't get a chance to film downstairs, but there was a basket full of stuffed animals, and I pulled out this 1986 Alf plush. Lately, I've been trying to find more stuff like this to put on my tables at future events, and this is perfect. Here's a better look at the flannels that I found. They're all size women's large. Most of them are pretty plain, but a couple have flowers embroidered on them. They're in really great condition, and they were only $5 a piece. After we started grabbing a lot, I completely filled my IKEA bag, so I was looking around trying to find another bag to use, and Allie's like, why don't you use that bag over there? And I look down, and I see this vintage Pillsbury Doughboy duffel bag. Never knew something like this existed. It was like perfect timing though, and it's like the highest quality bag ever. I'll have to show you guys at the end of the video. On the way to the sale, Allie was saying she wanted to find a dishware set like this, and what do you know, she was walking around the sale and in the kitchen, she spotted it. I'm not sure exactly what to call it. She was calling it sort of like diner dishware. It has the green stripe around it like you would see at a diner, but it's really cool, and she found an entire set of it. In the same closet where I found the flannels, I was looking down at the bottom and it seemed like there were a few bins of pants, but after I got to the bottom of the bins, I found a couple t-shirts down here. I found a vintage Phillies one and a couple of bunny t-shirts. I also found this stack of vintage bandanas on one of the dressers. There's a few pretty interesting ones in here, and I'll show them all at the end of the video, but I want to show you the highlights first. So there's a Harley one, a California Raisins one from the 80s, but I think the best is this vintage Texas one. I'm not sure how old it is. I would really like to know. If anybody has any idea, please comment down below. Pretty sure it's made of silk, but it seems ancient. Something else that Allie picked up was this quilt. I personally know nothing about quilts. I really need to up my knowledge in that region, but Allie always picks up great ones, and it was only $10. Something else I found at the sale that I didn't get to film was this box full of little knickknacks. I'll show these at the end of the video too. I didn't want to waste too much time filming the random things that I found because I wanted to go to the next sale. This next sale, I wasn't sure if there was going to be anything good because it was actually the second day they were having it. Now, most people probably wouldn't go, but I don't know. You just never know. Sometimes they put out new stuff. Sometimes people miss things. Sometimes things get moved around and then they put other stuff out. You just never know. So we had to go in to check it out. So the first place we looked was actually that red building to the side, the garage. And on one of the shelves, I saw all of this 1965 World's Fair merchandise. Once I saw that the prices weren't crazy, it got me really curious what else might be in the house. Allie also found this box with a bunch of vintage drink recipes on it. What's cool is it has vintage pictures on the one side, and then on the back, it has how to make them. So Never seen something like that, but that's awesome. Next, we made our way into the house, and I immediately went upstairs because I always look through the closets first to see if there were any clothes. And in one of the bedrooms, I saw this table full of vintage Elvis posters. They were all folded kind of weird to the point where you could sort of see the graphic while it was still folded. So it made it super exciting to open them up because you could just tell they were huge and the quality of the print was really good. These are all from the 70s, maybe early 80s, and you could just kind of tell by the quality of paper they used. The ones that they make now modern day are a lot different feeling than these ones. After I found those posters, I started walking around the house just to see what else might be in here, and I started to find a lot of clothing. The only problem was I'm pretty sure that a lot of the good stuff already sold because this house was surprisingly full of clothes. I wasn't expecting it at all, but the entire top floor just had a ton of clothes. Here's a video of me looking through everything but not finding any clothes. It was such a bummer. But I mean, I was like basically high off my Elvis find that I didn't really care, but it would have been cool to come to this sale the first day because who knows what could have been in there. But that's just sort of how estate sales go. You never know what's going to be at some place and what you're going to miss or what you're going to find. That's just the luck of the draw. Anyways, here's my entire haul. Start with the Elvis posters. These are just even cooler than I was expecting. I mean, just check out how great the graphics are. It's surprisingly high quality considering these were printed around 50 years ago, which is wild. After I laid this first one out, I was thinking there's no way this find could get any better, but somehow it did. It turns out a lot of these are double-sided, and that's why I was seeing some of the graphics on the outside. Those ones were double-sided. So if you tried to fold the graphic on the inside, you can't because there's graphics on both sides. I'm not sure where these originally came from or where they were sold. I mean, they obviously could have been sold at like a poster store or at like some kind of novelty shop, but I'm guessing some of them came from like a calendar booklet or just a poster book because a few of them have a circle hole at the top where you would hang them. Some of the posters I really liked was a set of 3. I didn't even know I found all these 3. They were all folded together, but basically it's a sequence of Elvis going across the stage. It sort of reminds me of those old Pokemon cards that on the back they had sort of like a big image, and if you found all the cards you could create a whole image. So with this you can kind of see him going across the stage, which I think is really cool. Something else I wanted to mention is check out how awesome all of Elvis's outfits are on these posters. The posters themselves are from the 70s or 80s, but all the pictures that are on them are from like the 50s, 60s, and 70s. So just imagine how hard some of these outfits must have went when he was wearing them in like the 50s. I mean, they're just freaking crazy outfits. One of the other posters that I really like is this poster that has 6 Elvises on it. This poster is kind of cool because in one of the squares, it has Elvis acting kind of goofy. And I feel like I don't really see pictures of him acting like that, especially not on posters. So I thought that was really cool. Also, I completely forgot to tell you guys how much I paid for all these. So I ended up buying 25 of them for $6 a piece. I think $6 a piece was pretty fair for them. I think with selling posters, it's sort of a gamble because when you buy them, you can expect a few of them to have torn up edges or maybe some rips, but you could also run into major problems when buying them because they are so fragile. Like they can rip so easily, or if they get damaged in any way, they could be pretty much worthless. Even with all those problems, they're still one of my favorite things to find and sell. They're like the easiest thing to take pictures of, and every time you find them, you see one that you've never seen before. I really want to find easier ways to display posters at in-person events. I've seen people put them against cardboard and then maybe like plastic wrap them to display them. If anybody knows how to do that, comment down below. I'm sure there's a YouTube video out there somewhere. I haven't done too much research on my own, but I would love to know how to do that because that's a great way to display them and it doesn't take up a lot of room to just put cardboard behind some of them. This last poster, I don't know anything about. It looks like a collage of different images from the 70s. It's a massive poster though. It's about double the size of all the other Elvis posters. If anybody knows what this is, let me know down below because it's really weird. There's like pictures of pills. There's just like people hanging out. There's like random other stuff. I have no idea. Here's the rest of the stuff we picked up from that second estate sale. This 1965 World's Fair wallet money bag thing is really cool. The seller wanted $12 for it, but she took $5. I didn't even offer anything. She just said she would do $5. It's completely unused from 1965, which is wild. I also found this ashtray from the same World's Fair 1965. Super cool. And the last thing I got at that sale was this vintage Santa for only $5. I picked this up for my dad, and one one interesting thing about Santa is he has porcelain shoes. You can hear them clicking in this video. I thought that was such a random choice considering the rest of him is just like a stuffed animal. Now we're on to my finds from the first estate sale. I picked up all these hats. One thing I was kind of disappointed about is that this Mark Martin hat is actually a youth size. So you could tell because there is a youth tag inside, which I didn't even look at. But another way to tell if it didn't have tags is to look at the number of lines around the brim. This white one has way more, so you can tell that it's an adult, but the kids ones usually have way less lines of stitching across the brim. The original owner must have been a Mark Martin NASCAR fan because there were a few other trinkets in here. There was a keychain, a lighter, and a fishing lure. I had no idea they made NASCAR fishing lures, but then again, I'm pretty sure they made basically anything NASCAR you can think of in the 90s and early 2000s. Another underrated thing I look for at estate sales that usually gets missed by other people at the sale are belts. I always find my vintage belt buckles there. Didn't find any today, but I did find 2 vintage belts. This first one with the studs is a woman's belt, and then the second one is a men's size 32. So I sort of lied. I actually did find a belt buckle. This buckle was in that little trinket box, and this belt did not have a buckle on it. So I just put them together. I'm pretty sure they were supposed to be together all along. So I'm lucky I picked up that trinket box, or I wouldn't have a buckle for that belt. As you saw in the clips at the beginning, I found a stack of vintage bumper stickers. Never found vintage ones before. These all seem pretty high quality, so I'm guessing they're still gonna work, but I'm not completely sure considering these are like 25 years old. Also in the trinket box, I found this vintage can opener. Never knew this was a thing. There was also this keychain that has nail clippers and a pocket knife inside. Pretty nifty thing to have on your keys. And these 2 vintage pins from the Olympics. I was pretty shocked there wasn't more clothing at that first estate sale. There were a bunch of closets, but only the bedroom one had any clothes in it. I found these 2 bunny t-shirts. These are both from the early 90s. The one's dated 1993 and the other one's 94. I don't know what it is or where these came from, but anytime you see a t-shirt that has this Cotton Grove tag, it's going to have some sort of an animal on it. Not sure why. There was also this t-shirt that had a cat and a dog on it. Pretty sure this is from the 80s. It's just like a really thin t-shirt. Like I mentioned, these flannels are all really nice, but they're definitely giving grandma vibes. I'm not sure where they were sold at originally, but they're sort of given like the Blair factory outlet, so they might have been like a QVC order or something like that. Here's a better look at all the bandanas. Like I said, they were all sitting on a dresser in a pile, so I just grabbed them all and then checked out with them. I got charged $1 a piece, so I thought that was pretty fair. To sell them, I usually lot them up in groups of 3, and I've had somewhat success, so this time I'm going to lot them up in groups of 5 and see if they sell a little bit better. The ones that are a little more special, I sell individually, like the Harley and the California Raisins. Those will each be $20 shipped a piece. This Texas one, I'm still extremely curious about. It's got the map in the center, and all the graphics just seem extremely old. I tried to lay this thing out flat, but you could tell it's been folded for like forever. I tried to Google Lens it, but it wasn't coming up with anything, so you guys will have to let me know if you know anything about it. There were a couple other random things in the bandana pile, like this map from England. It's like a fabric map. I've found these before. They aren't worth a ton of money or anything. They're just sort of like decorative things you hang on the wall. I also found this dog table runner. Had no idea it was a table runner until I actually laid it out. I actually gave this away for free today on my website drop. I don't know if it's worth any money or anything, but I just thought I would give it away for free. Every vintage plush I pick up is always extremely nice. Like this Alf one is very high quality and well made, and it's dated 1986 on the back. I also have to show you this Pillsbury Doughboy duffel bag again. I have a feeling that this bag was made by the same people who made the Marlboro merch. Marlboro didn't make their own merch. I'm pretty sure they just contracted this other company to make everything, because the same people who made the Marlboro merch also made Pepsi merch, so there's a chance that they also made the Pillsbury stuff. And here's the last find of the day, a vintage Muppets Viewmaster. Like I mentioned, Allie found this at the sale. This is the first thing she found, and she carried it around the whole time. It's dated 1978 on the back, so the little 3D discs inside are actually called reels. I was pretty much only expecting Muppet ones to be in here, but there's a ton other ones. There's Batman, Casper, Looney Tunes, and a ton other ones. If you're unfamiliar on how to use this thing, you basically put one of these reels into the top of a Viewmaster, and then you look up at light, and the image shines through, and it looks 3D because you're looking through with both your eyes. Here's what my dumbass looked like when I used it. The lever on the side changes the image for you, and you can see here, that's where the disc goes, right up top. Let's see what this one looks like. So I put one of the Muppet slides in, and you can see the images are all super clear, and this is just such a cool toy that doesn't use any electricity or anything. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, and thanks for watching.